It's First Lady here, and I am in the kitchen today. It is the 4th of July, Independence Day, and I'm so excited because this is one of my favorite holidays to make some patriotic dishes. So, the first thing that I want to show you is my favorite recipe for patriotic flag cake. Now, it really just calls for a few simple ingredients. You have a yellow cake mix, you have oil, you have eggs, right? Just for the regular recipe for the cake. And then I'm just going to use some strawberries and some blueberries here that I have fresh fruit here. And I'm going to use some heavy whipping cream to make my own whipped cream to go over this cake. So I'm going to make a flag. All right, this is an old recipe. I have not made it in a while, but it's so much fun to make. And you are going to love making this for your family. It's something you can make during, Memorial Day, different holidays, anytime you want to have a flag. So I'm going to go ahead and crack these eggs. It's going to call for 3 eggs. So I'm just going to crack these 3 eggs real quick. And so that they're ready as we get ready to make this mixture real quick. And very quickly. All right, so now we are ready to get started. I have already greased and sprayed this pan. So you'll use a square pan that you need like for a cake pan. And this is not a very deep one, as you can see, and it comes with a lid. Now you want to definitely, if you're going to take this somewhere, which is I'm going to do, I'm going to take this over to a dessert party that I'm going to. And so you want a lid that's clear so that everybody can see how beautiful your flag cake looks. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the yellow cake mix. I've already preheated the oven, of course, to my normal 350. And so because this is such an easy cake mix recipe, you can pretty much make these box cake mixes with your eyes closed, right? They're so easy. So it's simple ingredients, 1, 2, 3, right? So I'm just going to add the oil and the eggs. It calls for a half a cup of oil, and I'm using the canola oil as usual. So I'm using the half cup of the canola oil here, and sometimes I go a little bit over just because I want it to be a little bit moist. All right, so let me put the top back on that and set that over to the side over here. All right, so we have the oil, and I'm just going to add this in and start mixing this together. It also calls for 1 cup of water, and I pretty much have already sort of pre-measured this, just making sure it's a cup of water. Good. All right, so we're adding the water and the oil, and I'm just going to mix this up really good. And of course, this is a yellow cake mix, but I suppose you could make it with a white cake if you wanted to, because people really aren't going to see the cake on the bottom. If you prefer white cake, that'd be fine, because you're going to make the flag decorations on the top. So it's not really going to matter that much what kind of cake is on the bottom. I just like to use a yellow cake mix just because I like the yellow flavor of this cake. So now, as I am mixing it in, it's pretty smooth. So I'm just going to add the eggs now, one at a time, as usual. And so once I do that, then we'll start mixing it with the mixer. All right, so let me do this, get these in. And this is going to make a really nice, smooth batter. And this process is really simple. So the prep time on this is probably, less than about 15 minutes. And the cake can be in the oven. And once it comes out and cools, then you just make the flag decorations on the top. And it's so fun for this time of year. So just getting that yolk in there. The second egg is going in. And I always add the eggs last just because I like to make the batter fluffy. And so once I've gotten the water and the oil in, I always add the eggs last. And I generally do that with any kind of cake that I'm making. I don't know why. I guess it's just something that I started doing, so I just keep doing that. Just adding the eggs last. All right, so now the last egg is going to go in. All right, so I'm just going to move this over out of the way into the sink. All right, let's get this last egg incorporated, and I'm going to start the mixer. All right, so now that I've gotten it in pretty well, I'm going to, of course, mix this probably for about 2 minutes. So I'm just going to mix this batter and get it smooth. And while it is mixing, it calls for like 2 minutes of mixing. So I will mix this, and once it gets smooth, I will come back and I'll show you as I put this in this baking pan. It's a foil pan that I'm going to be using, and it's just going to go right in the oven. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, we are back, and we have gotten this batter smooth, and I'm just going to set that over, and I will get that in just a second. Now it's time to transfer the smooth cake mix, and I'm just making sure we got it all off the sides. All right, so we're going to spread this evenly into this pan here, and it's going to cook according to the package directions, because remember, we're just making this according to the package directions for this patriotic flag cake. All right. And it's just going to go right into the oven. And I'll let you know how much time it usually takes. But, you know, with each oven, it's going to be a little bit different. And so that's why I do my oven on 350 with preheating it. And then we start with about 20 minutes or so, and then we take a look at it after that. And then we just make sure that we have a clean toothpick when we insert the toothpick in, that it comes out clean. So just going to place this in the oven just like that. All right, we'll be back when it's ready to come out. Okay, our cake is ready to come out of the oven. I think it was in the oven about 35 or 40 minutes. Just follow the directions on the box for the type of oven you have. And I'm just going to turn this oven off. And all right, so this is our cake. And I think if we check the yep, comes out clean. So our cake is done. It's ready. All right, so it's going to cool. And we're going to come back and we're going to put the fresh whipped cream on it, the strawberries, the blueberries, and turn this into a patriotic flag cake. So we'll be back. Okay, we're back, and it is the 4th of July, Independence Day, and I'm having so much fun in the kitchen. I am making a patriotic flag cake. So I have my little flag here to kind of show me sort of how I want this to go. Now remember, this is your kitchen. As you make this, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we're going to try to make it look kind of like a flag, okay? So I have the whipping cream here. This is the heavy whipping cream. So if you notice, if you buy whipping cream in your grocery store, you can see that a lot of times it will have the recipe for homemade whipped cream on the back of the carton. So it makes it really easy. And so this keeps you from having to buy like the Cool Whip. You can have your own fresh homemade whipped cream. So I'm just going to pour about a cup of this heavy whipping cream into this measuring cup, and I'm going to add it to my KitchenAid mixer, and it's going to be whipped probably for about 3 minutes on high speed. I'm using the Whisk attachment of my KitchenAid mixer, and it's really going to do all the work for me. And I'm going to add a little bit of sugar. This is like about a half cup, but I doubt if I'll use all of that because I don't like for my whipped cream to be that sweet. but I'm going to do probably about a cup and a half just to make sure we have enough of this whipped cream to go across this entire cake. So that's going to be the top layer. We're going to make this into a flag. So I want to show you before I start that whipping, because I know that's going to make quite a bit of noise, but you can see that the cake has cooled completely. And so I've just set it over here, and I'm just going to show you the blueberries that I've washed. So these are fresh blueberries. I would not recommend using the frozen because the frozen ones, when they thaw, they tend to get soggy. So you wouldn't want to use the frozen strawberries or blueberries. You want to use the fresh ones if at all possible, because you're going to put this right onto your cake. So now I'm just going to slice these strawberries, and these are kind of big, so they're going to kind of go across like that. And basically I'm going to make the stars and the stripes. So that is how it's going to be. You kind of want them to be, just strawberry halves, so that it looks, kind of like the red part. You definitely want to focus on the red part. So you can see as I am slicing them, they're going to go kind of just like so. And I can even thin this down if I want to, if I don't want them that thick. So they're going to go down, and some of this right here can go later on. If I want to just have like a fruit salad or something later on, I can save that for later. But I'm just going to slice these to where they will go directly on top. So now this is the process that you're going to see. So I'm just going to sort of line it up, the stars and stripes. I don't know if you guys remember that song. It's like 13 stripes are on our flag, on our flag, on our flag. 13 stripes are on our flag, my dear country. And then it says 7 are red and 6 are white. And it's such a neat song to teach your kids to know kind of how the flag is designed, right? And we have 50 stars, right? Because we have 50 states. So it's pretty neat to think about that. But of course, I don't have room for all of the stars and stripes, but we're going to just try to do our best to make it look like a flag. So I'm just going to keep slicing these vegetables. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the mixer here. And once I turn that on, I'm going to let that process start. I'm going to add the sugar. It's going to whip until it becomes soft peaks, stiff peaks, if you will, for the whipped cream to go on top. It's going to be the top layer. Then we'll add the berries and we'll be ready to make a flag cake. So I'll be back. I don't want you to hear all this noise because this is going to have to go for about 3 or 4 minutes. So I'll be back. Okay, we are back, and I have gotten this whipped cream here ready, and it is soft peaks, as you can see. And actually, if I had let it go on any longer, it would have turned into ice cream probably. But I think this is going to be good enough for us to make our flag cake. All right, so you can see I've sort of assembled here how the strawberries are going to be. I've kind of gotten them sliced, and this is sort of the direction they're going to be. And remember, I was talking about the 13 stripes, and a little bit of trivia. What do the 13 stripes on our flag? 7 are red and 6 are white. What do the 13 stripes represent on our flag? Somebody, if you know that, write that into the comments and let everybody know. Let us know. So now I'm going to go ahead and stir this just a little bit. Make sure it's good and smooth. All right. So since I love history, just a little bit of history trivia for you guys. All right. So you can see this whipped cream looks amazing. So we're just going to spread it across. And I have a different kind of knife that I may want to use if I can't get this to go on as smooth as I want it to. I do think we'll have enough to get it all the way across. I just want to make sure that I am getting it all the way in the corners too. So I'm going to use probably a different knife here. So let me pull this out a little bit more so perhaps you guys can see it. And let me see where my other knife is. I need something with a little bit smooth edges here. So let me and I didn't use all of the sugar, as you can see, and it is pretty much just lightly sweetened, and that is just fine. That's how you want it. You don't want your whipped cream to be overly sweet. Remember, the cake is already sweet, so the cake is the sweetest part, and then the Cool Whip, oh, I shouldn't say Cool Whip, the whipped cream, because we are making our own homemade whipped cream. So the whipped cream is the fresh element, along with these amazing looking strawberries and blueberries that we have here. So trying to do this as quickly as possible, but I don't want to, rush this step, because I am taking this with me to a dessert fellowship. It's the 4th, and you know how you get invited to go over to somebody's house and it's a cookout and the whole family's going to be there, and you want to bring a dish, and they say, well, you going to bring a dessert? And you say, sure, I'll bring a dessert. Well, this is the perfect dessert that you can bring, and it won't take any time to make, as you saw. Pretty simple to make. And so now I kind of want to just flatten it out. A lot of the excess can come off because we do want to make it a flag, so we kind of want it to be a little bit even, if you will, while not skimping on the Cool Whip, or the whipped cream, I should say again. All right. As flat as we can get it. And I'm just removing some of the excess that we don't need. Turning it sort of as we go. And you know what, guys? This doesn't have to be perfect. A homemade dessert is already going to be really, really nice anyway. So just do the best you can to make it nice and presentable. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just doing the best that I can to get this. And I don't know where my actual cake knife is, icing knife. I have one somewhere. I just didn't take time to look for it. But it's all good, you guys. It is all good, because we are in our kitchen today, having a great time making this gorgeous patriotic flag cake. All right, so now let's see how we're going to assemble according to our flag. So let me do that, and let me just start. Let's start with should we start with the stripes, or should we start with the stars? What do you think? Let's start with the stripes. All right. So obviously, okay, you guys, let's hope that this turns out good. All right, so the bottom ones are going to go all the way across, right? Because if we're looking at our flag, when we get to the middle is when we're going to start adding our blueberries for the stars. So the stripes are going to go all the way across. So let's see how many stripes we get before we have to add the stars. Ooh, I'm getting nervous. I have not made this in so long. I remember years ago when my kids were little, we made this cake and my kids just loved it. They were completely fascinated. They were like, "Oh, mommy, it looks like a flag." And I was like, "Yes, it sure does." And it was an opportunity to do a little history lesson about the flag and our history of 1776, declaring our independence from Britain. Just lots of fun things you can teach your kids while you are cooking in the kitchen. It's my favorite thing in the world to do. So now let's stop there and let's see if we can do a few here. And we'll pick the ones that we kind of really want to shine, right? All right, so now, now it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Huh? Let me know in the comments how this is going. I'm just sort of wiping it up as we go. We want to have a clean presentation. All right, so any whipped cream that's on the sides, we can definitely wipe up. All right, so as I am using this paper towel to sort of wipe my hands, I am going to now see how we can get these blueberries on as our stars. So let's hit it. All right, I'm just sort of using this as a guide, as you can see. And these aren't very big blueberries, but I'm hopefully going to try to pick some of the bigger ones out of this bunch. We'll see how it goes. We may not get exactly 50 states, huh? Let's see how we do. Let's see how we do. And if you see any stems on your blueberries, just politely pull them out as you are assembling. No worries at all. As we mentioned, this is our rendition of the flag cake. So, is that a little stem? I'll clean up as we go. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, we are almost to the finish line of making this adorable flag cake, you guys. We're cutting it close. I don't know if you're counting. I'm not. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We got 30 states, you guys. But I think we can probably put a few more up here just because we want to fill in the little gaps there. And I probably am pushing them down too far. But I don't want them to roll around, right? So we don't want our 50 states trying to secede from the Union, right? We want to keep them all together. All right. Scoot that one over because that one is trying to disappear. That one's trying to disappear, so we'll scoot that one in. Okay. All right, you guys. All right. This is what we have. This is our flag cake. Happy Independence Day. God bless you all. God bless America and continue to be blessed.